Up against it now. They've lost 3 in a row to the Washington Capitals, who are a very good hockey team. And the Penguins, you should appreciate what they've done even more so, knowing they took them out the last 2 years and they lost them this year. But, man, that's a team that could be just a destiny team right now. Alex Ovechkin's playing so well. But I think Vegas has been down this road in terms of facing adversity all year, Ron. I'd like to get your take on, can they come back? Again, 2 of the next 3, if it goes 7, will be in Vegas. So 1 game at a time. If they win tomorrow, it puts an awful lot of pressure on Washington.
Can they? Sure. Do I think they will? No. I don't think they're going to beat this Washington team 3 in a row. They might win tomorrow night. I don't know that they win back in Washington game 6. I think they really needed to come out of Washington with the split. Can they? Sure. Who knows what would have happened. James Neal missed that wide open net, hit the post. If that had gone in, maybe it would have been a different game. I know Vegas is saying a lot that the Penguins did. Well, we're getting our chances. Well, as long as we get our chances, they're going to go in. Well, the Penguins ran out of time. I'm just afraid Vegas might run out of time too. But what a tournament Ovechkin has. What a tournament Kuznetsov has had. What a tournament Holtby has had. So any of those 3 could be Conn Smythe guys, I think.
And to a lesser degree, John Carlson, who has been really good defensively.
Really good player.
All right, let's go to the lines. We begin with Tony in the Hill District. Hey, Tony, how are you? Welcome.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I want to ask you guys a hypothetical question. Okay, I know we're a long way off, and I know the season ain't started and ended yet. But if Le'Veon Bell left, I just want to know, who do you guys think, what team will pick him up or what team he's good for? Me, personally, I think he would be good with the Jags or the Colts.
The Jags, they have Leonard Fournette. What are they going to need with Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon's here for the year, and we'll worry about that after the season when he most certainly won't be here after this year. But ride him and see where you go. I like him. I think he's a great player. Brings a lot of drama unnecessarily to this situation, but he's such a great running back. I'm glad he's still here for another year because I think he can help him win a Super Bowl this year.
Dale in Brookline joins us right now. Hello, Dale. How are you?
Hey, what's happening, Bob?
All right, what's on your mind tonight, Dale?
John Hook Gong, what do you think is going to happen with him? They're going to bring him up, and what's going to happen to the roster?
It's still going to be a while, but I do believe if he's on a faster track, and he had another home run tonight, that's 3. You wonder who might be made expendable prior to tonight. You might have said Sean Rodriguez. You still might think that, Ron, but they need some help, too, offensively, this game notwithstanding.
He's got a long way to go. He met the media today, said all the right things. I'm really ambivalent. I really don't care if he comes back. I'm all for giving guys 2nd and 3rd chances, but this is kind of ridiculous to me. But from a baseball standpoint, he may be able to help the Pirates. Said all the right things, sound contrite today. Of course, he was going to say all the right things. We'll see what kind of citizen he becomes if he does get back to Pittsburgh and what kind of ball player. But he's still got a ways to go. I'll be surprised if it's much before the All-Star break.
Well, he's out of strikes. This is it for him. He's in the bottom of the 9th facing Aroldis Chapman on an 0-2 count, and he hasn't got a hit off him all year. That's where he is, and he needs to not only come back and, first of all, he's not going to drive. He doesn't have a license. He said today his translator is his designated driver. He said he hasn't had a drink since that 3rd DUI arrest, and good for him if that's the case, but there are no more strikes. He has to stick to his plan. He has to be a contributor, and he also has to be a productive citizen as well. That's a lot to overtake for somebody coming into this country and not being born and raised here. So we'll see. Mark in Washington. What's up, Mark? How are you?
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hey, fine, thanks. I'm not an authority. I'm just an average baseball fan. However, once my grandfather said, throw strikes and swing the bat. Tonight I heard Steve Blass, who I admire as a player and a person, say on an 0-2 count, he's got 2 mulligans, and I thought we were up to Crick a little bit earlier there. Any thoughts? Thanks.
Not sure what the question was.
I wasn't either.
Well, the question would be, do they have, is it should you just throw strikes or should you make them chase the ball?
Well, when you're 0-2, you can afford to make them chase a time or two, but, you don't want to come in with something fat on 0-2 and help them dig out of that hole. I have no problem with wasting a pitch or two trying to get somebody to chase.
Yeah, I think that's what pitchers do. You're not going to hit the pitch you want. You're going to have to just make sure you lay off. Like Polanco tonight, for example. He was down in the count. I thought if you watch that at bat, he was 0-2. And then he took one that was real close. It was a tough take because he was down 0-2, and it was the similar pitch that was called strike right before that. And then he ripped one to right. They changed his batting stance a little bit today. They showed some video on AT&T Sports, and they're working with him. So, you know, that's what it's baseball season. That's what you said. It's
all about adjusting, right?
Every year, players go through this, no matter how good you are. The only exception, and I will tell you this, Ron, I think long-term contracts are highly overrated. I like, you know, deals.
Unless you get one, they're overrated.
Okay, but my point is, 90% of them are not worth it by the end of the contract. However, Max Scherzer has been worth every dime that he has been paid. I've never seen a pitcher that, you know, start in, start out, go out there. He's 10-1 this year. He strikes out so many hitters. He's constantly giving you not just 7 innings, but normally 8 or 9. Has there been a better pitcher in the last? I think he's won 3 already, Cy Youngs. He's in position to win a 4th. I don't know where that puts him in the all-time Cy Young rankings, but it's got to be right at the top.
Yeah, he had a immaculate inning again last night. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts. Only one of 4 guys to do it more than once in his career. I think I read that he was 25 out of 28 first pitch strikes and threw 80 out of 91 strikes. Yeah. That's pretty doggone efficient.
That's as good a percentage as you're ever going to see. Let's go to Derek in Pittsburgh. Hey, Derek, how are you tonight?
Good. Hey, about the Steelers, how about the rookie players? They're doing good. I think having a great season.
Well, I hope so. I think a guy like James Washington is one of the guys you can expect to make an impact. You know, I heard something from Mike Hilton yesterday, Ron, that he says he could envision a time where they use 7 defensive backs.
Well, they're planning on using these safeties like linebackers, aren't they?
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking for speed and people who are reliable tacklers, I assume. Because
and they were awful at tackling last year.
Right, and they're expecting that to be better. All right, let's go out to Chris in Mount Hall. Chris, welcome to the Sports Call. Go ahead.
Hey, just have a quick question about Pitt basketball coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Just what do you guys think about their upcoming class? Thanks.
I think he's done a good job, but I think this is going to be a bad year, and I think you should expect it to be a bad year, only because it's a transition. He's had not much to deal with, but I think Jeff Capel is making his presence known on the recruiting trail, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I don't know any of these guys he's recruited. I don't follow high school recruiting, and I haven't even thought 1 second about Pitt basketball at this point in time. I mean, I'll worry about that come about October.
All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we have our Ruth's Chris Sizzlin shot, a hole-in-one today on a very difficult hole in Western Pennsylvania. We'll tell you about that and more right here on Pittsburgh CW.